What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken. Today, guys, we are here for some last-minute Criterion recommendations. So the sale ends this Monday, December the 4th, and I tried to make it a point this month to watch a few of the Criterions in my collection. Some of these are ones that I just bought for the Criterion sale, and some of them are ones that I've had in the collection for quite some time, and I just wanted to get to them and check them out. I'm hoping to watch a couple of others before the month of November ends. And I let me just say that it feels really good it feels good to watch a movie that you buy, you know, the same day you buy it and then you take it home and you watch it. It feels good to watch movies in your collection, right? You feel like you're doing something with the money that you're spending on this stuff. But it feels even better for some reason to watch a movie that you've had in the collection for like a year, 2 years, some cases 3 years, because you're like, you know what? I bought this, and at one point I thought I would never watch this, and now I'm watching this. So it just feels good. So yeah, we're going to talk about 6 titles today. I tried to squeeze in a 7th one. We'll talk about that one at the very end, but we're going to be giving out 6 recommendations. Again, the Criterion sale ends this Monday. A lot of these are up for the same price on Amazon, so you may be able to check Amazon for some of these. I will link as many of them as I can. The ones that are participating in the sale on Amazon down below in the description. But the rest of these will be available in the Barnes & Noble stores, but also on the Barnes & Noble website. So before I get into all the recommendations, like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We talk about physical media on this channel, Blu-rays, 4Ks, owning the movies that you love, all that stuff there behind me every single day. So if you like that kind of thing, hit the subscribe button and also like this video, and then comment down below, guys, what are some of the Criterions you've been watching this month? What have you been picking up? Let me know in that comment section below. Let me know what you think of my recommendations as well, because the last video I did, I got some comments that said, Ken, you recommend the same stuff over and over. You're only recommending the mainstream titles. I tried to watch some stuff that's not in the mainstream of the Criterion collection. I'm still not diving deep into the foreign stuff, so I apologize. I'll get there eventually, but you know, there's a couple of mainstream ones in here, but hopefully there's some off the beaten path titles for you people that know every square inch of the Criterion collection. You want me to talk about those movies. So yeah, let me know what you're watching in the comment section below. Turn on bell notifications for all future videos, and let's get into it. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is a movie that kind of blew me away by the time I got to the end of it, and that is Smooth Talk with Laura Dern and Treat Williams. Even though, like, from the cover you would think that Treat is a big part of this film, and he's definitely a big part of this film, but he's not really in it a ton. This is really Laura Dern's movie, and it's a coming-of-age film. She's a 15-year-old girl. She wants to be older than she actually is, so she's dressing up like she's early 20s. She's going out. She's trying to meet guys. So it's a coming-of-age film. You know, this girl is trying to find herself, you know, through her sexuality and, you know, and all that good stuff that us teenagers are just trying to figure out at that age. So it's a great movie. And I thought it was going to be one kind of movie, and then it just gets extremely dark by the time you get to that third act. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but I don't know, it kind of just blew me away, just that the fact that they went there and the way that they went there. And this is directed by a female director, Joyce Chopra, and I think it was based on a novel or a short story, but they actually included the short story, I believe, in this Criterion Collection edition, which is pretty damn cool, you know, that they would include that in here. So I watched a lot of the special features with this release as well. There's some really great special features. I think this came out maybe in 2020, 2021. There's a special feature on here. I think it's like a 2-hour long, like, Skype conversation, Zoom conversation between the director, the writer, Laura Dern, who came back to talk about this movie, which is definitely really cool. Laura Dern was recently an Oscar-winning or nominated actress. I think she did win the Oscar for Marriage Story recently, and this would have been around that same time that she came back. But really awesome that she came back to talk about the movie. You can tell the movie means a lot to her. But to have the writer, The director, the star, and the moderator of this panel was Alicia, is that how you pronounce it? Alicia Malone, who I used to watch on Screen Junkies back in the day. She used to do the movie fight show on there. So like those were among the first YouTube like movie-based content I ever watched. So it was cool to see her like moderating the panel, and they were just talking about this movie and its importance, you know, in female filmmaking history, because again, this is directed by a woman and it's a very female-centric film. And I just found it to be very enlightening for me, but also at the same time, just very frightening as well, because I have a daughter that's 9 years old, and I'm really only like 6 or 7 years away from this point in time. And to think about my daughter wanting to be more grown up like this and go out like this, it just really plays into the whole mindset of, you know, the girls that want to act older and the attention that they'll get because they're acting older. Because at the end of the day, guys, you know, some guys are not very good. They're not good guys out there. And if you attract the wrong one, you could be in a lot of trouble. So this movie really feeds into that fear and that paranoia that you could have as a parent having a daughter in this situation. So I just thought it was a stunning film. It was one that, again, caught me off guard because I was not anticipating the kind of darkness this movie goes to by the time you get to the end of it. But Smooth Talk is a very good movie. I do recommend this for sure, that you pick it up in the Criterion collection. And it, like I said, tons of great special features. You have an interview with the director separately from that, you know, panel discussion as well. So really good addition by Criterion. And again, super awesome they included the short story in there as well. I thought that was really cool. And the next one I want to recommend is, and again, I watched all of these that I'm talking about this month. So I just watched all of these films, but Chilly Scenes of Winter. This one I think came out back in March or April, I think. I remember a lot of people talking about this when it came out. This is starring John Hurd, who is the dad from Home Alone. So I've seen him in some other stuff recently. I feel like he was in the movie Chud, which I watched a couple of years ago, the horror film about the underground dwelling monsters. But he was also in After Hours as well. He was the bartender in After Hours, which is starring Griffin Dunn, who is in this movie as well. And he's also the producer of this film. And can I just say that the movie itself, I enjoyed a lot. I love the movie High Fidelity with John Cusack. And this is like an earlier High Fidelity, about a guy that's pining for the girl that's wrong for him. She's not right for him at all. She's not on the same wavelength that he is relationship-wise. She's married for one, so she doesn't know what she wants, but he just loves her so much, he's pining for her the entire movie. And I will say, at this point in my life, the whole like sad, mopey guy that's pining for the girl that's either out of his league or just, again, doesn't want to be in the same type of relationship that he does, I feel like I've kind of outgrown it a little bit, just because I'm just not in that place at all. I've been married for going on 20 years now. I've been married for over 15 years. Been in a relationship with my wife for 20 years. So I haven't been in that spot in a very long time. So I find it very hard to relate to that character. And at the end of the day, I'm kind of just like, come on, dude, just pick yourself up and get out of this situation. How hard is it? So it's hard to really sympathize with the character of this movie, but I do like this type of movie. And it does go into more meta territory, like John Cusack in High Fidelity. He's kind of talking to the camera. So it's, again, I feel like High Fidelity, I don't know if the filmmakers came out and said it, but I feel like they took a lot from Chilly Scenes of Winter. But again, I enjoyed the film itself, but the most interesting thing about this movie and this edition is the story behind Chilly Scenes of Winter, how this was based on a book, and how the director of this film, I'm trying to find her name, Joan Micklin Silver. This is the second film I'm talking about, directed by a female. She wanted to adapt this book. She loved this book. And Griffin Dunn, Mark Metcalf, and Amy Robinson, who formed this kind of producing trio, they bought the rights to Chilly Scenes of Winter. Joan heard about it. She's like, hey, can I direct this movie for you? She was already established as a filmmaker at that point. This is 1979, so there's not a lot of female directors out there. So they get this movie made together. The studio that, you know, distributes this, that puts this out into theaters and advertises it, you know, advertises it all wrong. The marketing is all off for what this movie actually is to what the marketing is. They market it as some kind of like romantic screwball comedy. That's not what this movie is. So they market it all wrong. It comes out, it fails in 1979. I think the title of the film was different when they put it out. It was called Head Over Heels. Like when you look this up on IMDb, it shows the poster for Head Over Heels. It is not Chilly Scenes of Winter on the poster. So it comes out, it fails, and then they allow them to come back a couple of years later and under a different studio and re-release the film as Chilly Scenes of Winter as it was originally intended, and they fixed the ending, which this movie has two different endings, and they actually have the original ending in here if you want to check that out. And the change to the ending that they make just recontextualizes the entire film and gives it an entirely different meaning. So I love the new ending that they added to Chilly Scenes of Winter. I would have not wanted it to end like it did initially when it came out. So I just thought the story of the making of this movie, how it came out, how it came to be, how it got re-released, the title changes and stuff, I found that stuff to be all extremely fascinating. There's tons of great features diving into that. There's one with Griffin Dunn, Amy Robinson, Mark Metcalf. They're all talking very candidly about the production and making of this movie. And you also get a documentary about the director, just the hardships she went through as a woman, you know, coming up in the studio system, a female director, which is a great documentary. I watched most of that documentary. So just a really great addition with tons of great features. And the story behind this movie is really interesting. But the movie itself is also really good. If you like kind of sad, mopey, almost romantic, again, it is kind of a romantic comedy, but not really. I would say a dark, romantic, you know, slightly comedic film, I would describe this movie as. But Chilly Scenes of Winter is definitely a really good film that I would recommend getting and adding to your collection. The Others, I did buy The Others. I wanted to get this in October, but I was like, the Criterion sale's coming very quickly, so I might as well wait. I had not seen this movie since probably 2001 when it came out. It is a very good movie. It's not, I don't think it's a great movie, but it is a very good movie. There is one scene in this movie that is very effective and very creepy. And if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Even watching it now, it still creeped me the hell out. And knowing that it was coming, it creeped me out. But Nicole Kidman's great in this movie. It's a good period piece haunted house film with a nice twist at the end. And I knew kind of what the twist was. I could remember what it was, but I didn't know exactly what it was. And the twist at the end is very smart and very unique. As well, just the way that they do it and how they kind of just flip it. They just flip everything on you. Like you feel like you have an idea of what it is, but they flip all of it on you like at the same time. So I think the ending is really great. It's a really great, unique twist ending. Now, I don't think that the twist ruins the movie at all. If anything, it enhances it because you're trying to, you know, find things that you didn't see before. So but think it's kind of along the same lines as The Sixth Sense. Again, I'm not going to spoil it, but it's kind of along those lines, but not. It is kind of its own thing and its own unique beast. But The Others is a really good movie. I did like this movie a lot. The 4K looked outstanding. To be honest, this doesn't have HDR, doesn't have Dolby Vision. And I really don't think it hurt the movie. I think maybe it could have benefited from some HDR, but I don't know. It's a very dark film. It's a very gloomy film. So I feel like they made the right choice not including the HDR. I don't really think the HDR would have done this movie in particular any favors because it would have added a dark hue over it. And you may have not been able to see some of these scenes like you should have. And I thought the 4K, I thought it looked stunning. Very clear. Image quality was crystal clear. It looked great. Everything was pristine. You can make everything out. And it definitely looked better than it ever had before. At least I ever seen it. I probably haven't seen it since DVD, but it certainly looked better than the DVD. There's some really good special features in here as well. There's a new making of program from Studio Canal because I think they shared the transfer because Studio Canal put out a release as well. There's a new conversation between the director and critic Paul Gomez, but I think Nicole Kidman's in one of the Studio Canal special features as well, so that is definitely cool. But yeah, some good features, really good movie. I thought it looked really good. on 4K as well, and it has Dolby Atmos, and I thought the sound was just incredible with this movie. And look, let's get into my favorite watch of this entire bunch, and this is a top tier recommendation, and I don't care if this is Blu-ray or not, buy it anyway, because I really honestly don't see it looking any better than it does on Blu-ray with the 4K scan, and that is La Bamba. Did I say it right, guys? La Bamba. I'm trying to say it correctly. I've said La Bamba before, La Bamba, or La Bamba. Which one is it? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm sure you guys will. You correct me every time I mess up a pronunciation. But I love this movie. I've been watching this movie since I was a kid. I hadn't seen it in a very long time. It used to freak me out as a kid. Like, I blame this movie for my fear of flying. Oh, no doubt this is definitely a contributor to my fear of flying. I've flown twice in my life. I've flown twice in my life, and I don't like it. It's okay when you're actually doing it, but like the lead up to it is just very anxiety inducing. So I'm not a fan of flying, but I remember watching this as a kid. The ending hits you like a ton of bricks. And everybody knows the story of Ritchie Valens. You know, maybe you don't know, but he's a famous Latino rock star from the 50s that peaked at 17 and then tragically died in a plane crash with the Big Bopper. This of course is the event that is known as the day the music died. You know, there's a whole song wrote about it as well that you probably know, but very tragic. But the ending to this movie, even though you know what's going to happen, like, it still hits like so incredibly hard, and it still shakes me to this day. Like, just the way they do it is just really just awful. It's so awful, but the entire movie itself is great. I think Lou Diamond Phillips is just so fantastic in this movie. Maybe one of the best performances of the 80s, maybe one of the best music biopic performances, best embodiments of a musical talent ever on screen. I think he's so fantastic in this movie, so great. But everybody in this film is great. His mom's great, his brother, who is really just a piece of shit in this movie, but the actor is so freaking good. But even his brother, that's the thing about this movie. All the characters are just extremely complex and have just so many layers to them. And his brother is definitely the most complex, but even just all the crap he does all throughout the film to his brother, to his wife, to his mother, like, you just hate the dude. But at the end, like, there's some moments at the end where you really start to feel for him. And I think that's, you know, because of his great performance in the movie. So everybody in the film's great. I think it's fantastic. It's a fantastic story. It's a movie that really focuses more on the melodrama of the family, but that's fine with this type of movie because that was so important to the character of Ritchie Valens. You know, I like the musical parts as well, but that's not really the entire focus of the film. But I think because you have such good actors, like, that works for this movie. But La Bamba is a great film, and I think this Blu-ray really looked outstanding. Like, I was watching this and I was like, if you would have told me this was 4K and I popped it in, I wouldn't have thought any different. Like, I thought it looked like it was a 4K. It honestly looked like a Synapse Blu-ray release. Those are some of the best Blu-ray releases that there are in terms of picture quality. Like, it was that good. Just a stunning Blu-ray 4K scan transfer with La Bamba. So I thought it looked great. Now, if they do end up upgrading this to 4K, there's rumors that Sony may do it, a steelbook or something at some point. Maybe it's in a future Columbia Classics release. You know, Sony's doing that a lot, taking back the titles that Criterion put out to put in their releases. So, you know, we may see this on 4K at some point, but honestly, I think this is a great addition. I think it looks great. You have some excellent special features on this release, guys. You have an entire interview with the director of this film and Robert Rodriguez. It's about 50 minutes long. It's from 2015, so it's an older feature, but it's a really interesting interview because the director of this movie was the first Latino director in America. He directed this film. The first ever Latino directed film in America was La Bamba. So very great story. So he talked about how he inspired him as a filmmaker. You also have audio commentaries. You have a making of documentary. You have the director talking about this film solo by himself. So just some great special features in this release. And you open it up and you got a little brochure right here. Richard Venzuela's and his flying guitar. which this is the exact same kind of promo that his mom put up, flyer that his mom put up to get everybody to come watch him in the gymnasium. So really cool little additive that they put inside here, but the disc art is beautiful as well. And I just think this is a great addition. I'm so glad to have it. And I highly recommend this film in this edition for your collection. And next up, I did watch Defending Your Life. This is written and directed and starring Albert Brooks. And I feel like I've heard some really good things about this film. I like this film. I didn't love it. I had some problems with some of the choices that were made throughout the film. I didn't think it was the most engaging throughout. It is a long movie. It's almost 2 hours long, but the premise is really interesting. You have Albert Brooks' character. He gets taken out. He dies in the very beginning of the film. He goes to this like weird afterlife limbo place, and he basically has to defend his life like it's a trial or something. He's got a lawyer that's defending him. There's judges. He has to defend his life, some of the decisions that he's made throughout his life to get to move on to the next phase of the afterlife, the heaven, so to speak. But if he doesn't defend his life well, then he gets sent back to Earth to live all over again. So it's a very unique, interesting premise. I don't think it quite delivers on everything, but I do think it's just interesting enough to be a very enjoyable film. And you got Meryl Streep in this film as well. I think her and Albert Brooks do have some good romantic chemistry throughout the movie. So I do recommend this one. Some really good special features here. You have a new conversation with Brooks and filmmaker Robert Weed. New interview with theologist Theo, I can't even pronounce this, guys. Theologian and critic Donna Bowman about Brooks' vision of the afterlife. So they actually get a theologist to come in here and basically, dive into how realistic Albert Brooks' portrayal of the afterlife actually is. So that's definitely interesting. Defending Your Life, I would recommend picking this up. I think it's just interesting enough to check out for sure. And now we have Wes Anderson's Rushmore. And again, I know I'm calling this a recommendation video, but I honestly was expecting this to be a little better. I don't know. I just feel like this movie has such a reputation, and maybe I'm just not on the same wavelength as Wes Anderson. I like Grand Budapest Hotel. I was not a big fan of his recent film, Asteroid City, and The Royal Tenenbaums I love. That's my favorite Wes Anderson movie, but Rushmore, I just had higher hopes for. It didn't quite deliver. I liked it. I like Jason Schwartzman in this movie. He's very young in this film. I think this is from 1998. Bill Murray is okay. Again, I don't know. I was expecting more from this film, and it really is it's a Wes Anderson film. If you've seen one, you've seen them all. That's what Rushmore is. I don't know why I was expecting it to be something different. I was just expecting it to be more of like a late 90s comedy. I guess maybe like a road trip type movie or something. I was just expecting, not quite that, but I was expecting it to go more into that territory. But it's just a kid that falls in love with an older woman. Bill Murray comes in, takes the girl away from him, steals his quote-unquote girlfriend, and he tries to win her back. But you can tell that Wes Anderson kind of sees himself in Jason Schwartzman. I think that's what this movie is about, because I think Jason Schwartzman is Wes Anderson in this movie. He's writing plays, he's performing plays, he's trying to put on productions, making these big elaborate sets. The whole end of the movie ends in this big like war play production. And, it's good. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. It's just I was expecting more from it. But, if you like Wes Anderson, I do recommend you pick this one up and check it out. And I thought the Blu-ray looked really good. And I'm trying to look inside. I think there's some cool stuff inside as well. I think inside of this, and again, I haven't opened up a lot of these, you have a map of the school grounds, I think. So that's pretty cool. Is that what that is? Yeah, I think it's the school grounds of Rushmore. Very cool though, a map in here. That's pretty damn awesome. Like Criterion would just throw stuff in here. That's cool. And you got some cool disc art on that as well. So yeah, that's my 6 recommendations. Right there, you got Smooth Talk, Chili Scene's a winner, The Others on 4K, La Bamba, Defending Your Life, and Rushmore. So I only watched one 4K in the bunch. But look, Criterion, picture quality wise, all of these looked outstanding for sure. But the other movie that I got 20 minutes in and I was just like, I'm too tired for this. I can't finish this movie, is a Japanese film from 1977 called House. So I had so many people try to recommend this movie to me to tell me to watch it. I need to watch it. And I'm going to watch it. I will finish it because I'm definitely intrigued by where it goes. But I popped this in last night because I wanted to get through it before I did this recommendation video. And it's wild. I posted an image or a video on Instagram of this guy like falling down the stairs and like flipping and twisting around. It's a psychedelic mind F, and I heard it only goes further from there. So again, I'm gonna check it out, but some of the scenes in the beginning, I was like, I'm just too tired for this. I can't do this right now. I shut it off. I'm like, I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna try to watch it, maybe finish it tonight. But I'm not gonna be able to give my full thoughts and recommendation in this video, but I will definitely check it out at some point. So thank y'all for watching this Criterion recommendation video. The last chance, last minute recommendation video. Leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Follow me on all my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description, and also turn on bell notifications for all future videos and reviews, and I'll see you next time.